Well, hello, Hes and Gileno, and anybody else I might send this video to. I'm in receipt of your Christmas cheer greeting and a little background of what's been going on the last few months. I'm sure sorry you were sick this morning. I'm glad that it didn't contaminate the text. Feel free to print it and touch it and not worry about getting sick. Don't know why you got sick, but I'm glad you used the time to try to get better and then write this wonderful letter or text that you sent to us. You asked if I remembered the time together Christmas. Anybody remember the year Mom wanted to be artsy? We had a branch instead of a tree. No, I don't, but I'm sure it's true. That sounds like Mom in a way. I wonder what Dad's feelings were about that, but since I don't remember it, it really doesn't matter. Sorry, I don't, though. I have a picture of her in my mind as she was standing kind of sad and bent over, like the tree branch. Huh. I don't remember Mom ever being sad during the holidays, but my memory's not what it should be. Anyway, sorry about that. Makes me feel bad. See, Christmas at JL with the huge ranch all decorated and that bay window between the living room and the dining room. Yeah, I remember that. Remember the tree stand was a green kind of 2.5 foot diameter. It had four light bulbs in it and a place in the middle to set the tree and then clamp it with clamps. And one very unusual thing about that probably the rest of you didn't notice is that the plug to plug it in had male plugs on both ends. And if you plugged it into the wall and you weren't careful, the other end was hot. And I touched with my tongue one time and found out. So certainly today that would never happen, but back then concern about safety was kind of marginal. But I do remember the big trees there. I did remember we got a stereo, and there was a I can't tell you now. There was a song by somebody that was about talking too much. And if I can remember the name, I'll send it later. But anyway, we played that, think it was funny for Mom. Anyway, wasn't, but we thought it was cool. Uh, yeah, I remember your and Nia's bedroom. And that great big pink box in the corner, and the beds at 90 degrees to each other. I always felt a little sad and then sometimes a little lonely because Torn and I each had our own room, and it was, towards the north end of the house. Anyway, uh, I don't remember how long you had that bedroom, but it was quite a big room, and at least when I was young, it looked big. So I don't recall Santa Claus coming in and suggesting you go to sleep, but that's okay. Um, Remember running with Dad out in the snow in Ellensburg in our bare feet and then running back? I must not have been there for that. Maybe I was at Fountain Valley with Torn. I don't know. Um, don't remember ever running outside without shoes on my feet. That wouldn't make sense to me. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. Obviously, it didn't hurt you too much since you're still running around. Uh, I'm glad you said, Jeleno, and you are well and comfortable enjoying every minute of life. That's a wonderful way to be this time of life because we all know our end is much closer than we have ever anticipated before. And there's no sense getting uh, really messed up with thoughts and dread and doom, but to take the promises that God has made and trust Him to the end. Um, I'm glad you like all of your siblings. That's impressive. I've been around a few families where that's not been true, but at least ours it is true. We're just different, and Torn and I are so different in many ways. He's still my brother, but I'm not a golfer, and he's not a mechanic technical guy. He does very talented, does lots of creative things, but the stuff I get into is not something he has interest in, and I certainly never had interest in golf. I know way back in Ellensburg, we go down to that little golf course and try to do something, but it was not fun, at least for me. So those are memories from the ranch in Colorado. There's a few come up, especially when I see older pictures. And I was just realizing here the other day that, you know, we're a time of life when dear friends and close relatives are stepping into eternity. And I just need to be focused on God's purpose in life and to keep on going. Anyway, just want to briefly respond to your text this morning. I'm headed off to a Bible study and then over to Torrin and Chris's for Christmas Eve for a while. We'll probably just talk and eat snacks. I'm not sure what, we don't have anything major planned there. Anyway, love you all, and I'll keep in touch. Bye.